stop what you are doing. The persistent, nagging feeling that you have been operating at a disadvantage, that you were handed a rulebook for a game everyone else was playing differently, was not your imagination. It was the entire point. That sense of confusion, of striving for a goalpost that kept moving, of failing tests you never even signed up for, that was the examination. This is not a message you found by chance, it is a summons. Your soul was guided here to receive the results of a divine assessment that has been running in the background of your entire existence. The loneliness, the betrayals, the moments of crushing defeat were not punishments, they were the essay questions. The universe was testing your resilience, your integrity, and your capacity to hold light in the deepest darkness. You passed. To anchor the profound energy of this vindication, like this video now. To connect with the others who passed this same silent, brutal test, subscribe and join the collective of sovereign souls. Signal your readiness for the next phase by commenting the divine code 77 below. This is your energetic signature on your final score. Finally, allow this transmission to play in the background. Let it replay, allowing the frequency of this truth to saturate your spirit and recalibrate your subconscious for the victory that is already yours. Chapter 1: The Unseen Curriculum. Your life has not been a series of unfortunate events. It has been a meticulously crafted, divinely ordained curriculum. The system you were born into, the one that prides itself on syllabi, on clear instructions, and on predictable outcomes, was never your classroom. Your education was covert, esoteric, and administered by the universe itself. The syllabus was written not on paper but on your very soul, and the lessons were delivered through circumstances designed to break an ordinary spirit. You must understand this now with absolute clarity. Every moment of inexplicable hardship was a required course. The periods of profound isolation were not abandonment, they were modules in sovereign self-reliance. In those deafeningly quiet rooms, you were not being punished, you were being forced to locate the voice of God within your own heart, to learn that the only validation that matters is the one that echoes from your own spirit. This was the university's most advanced and most critical course, one from which most people drop out, seeking the noise of external approval to drown out the silence. You stayed. You completed the module. The feeling of being misunderstood, of speaking a truth that others met with blank stares or ridicule, was your oral examination in radical authenticity. The universe needed to know, would you bend your truth to be accepted, or would you stand in your power even if it meant standing alone? Every time you chose the latter, every time you spoke what you knew to be true despite the social cost, you were awarded the highest marks. These were not failures in communication. These were triumphant demonstrations of your incorruptible connection to Source. The financial struggles, the cycles of lack and scarcity that seemed to follow you no matter how hard you worked, were not a reflection of your worth. They were a brutal, immersive lesson in energetic economics. This advanced course was designed to decouple your sense of security from the fraudulent paper currencies of the world and anchor it into the infinite, ever-present abundance of the cosmos. You were being taught that your energy, your focus, and your faith are the real currency. The system teaches you to chase money, your curriculum taught you to attract resonance. You were starved of the material to force-feed you the spiritual until you learned to manifest from a place of inner wholeness rather than desperate lack. You mastered the art of receiving, of recognizing that the universe provides in ways the logical mind cannot track. This wasn't about being poor, it was about becoming truly, unshakably wealthy on a soul level, a wealth that cannot be taxed, stolen, or devalued. You were being made immune to the system's primary tool of control, financial fear. You now hold a PhD in a form of economics they cannot comprehend. The constant feeling of being out of sync with the world, of being fundamentally different, was the core condition of your enrollment. You felt gaslit by reality itself because you were living in two paradigms at once, the mundane world of the system and the elevated reality of your divine training. This disorientation was intentional. It was designed to shatter your reliance on consensus reality as the arbiter of truth. It forced you to stop looking outside for confirmation and to start calibrating your reality based on your inner knowing. The classroom had no walls, it was your life. The homework was your pain. The final exams were your moments of deepest despair. While others were memorizing facts and figures for their worldly careers, you were mastering the physics of faith, the chemistry of transmutation, and the biology of resilience. In the coming days, you will begin to see your past not as a timeline of trauma but as a transcript filled with honors distinctions. You will look back at the most painful moments and see them for what they were, the final exams you had to pass. The betrayer was the proctor for your discernment test. The loss was the practicum for your resilience course. The public humiliation was the thesis defense for your humility and grace module. This reframing is not a coping mechanism, it is the revelation of the truth that was hidden from you while you were in the midst of the curriculum. The sense of urgency, the feeling that you were running out of time, was the pressure of the examination clock ticking down to the moment of your graduation. The system wants you to believe you are damaged, that you are wounded, that you are behind. The truth is you are an honors graduate of a spiritual academy so exclusive, its existence is only revealed to those who complete it. You did not just learn the material, you became the material. You did not just study the light, you learned to generate it yourself in the bleakest conditions imaginable. This is why you feel so different. This is why their rules no longer apply. You have completed a curriculum they do not even know exists. Chapter 2: The Practical Exam of Betrayal. Every chosen one is put through the crucible of betrayal. It is not a possibility, it is a requirement. This is the part of the examination that separates the initiates from the masters. You were not tested with hypothetical scenarios or textbook case studies. Your test was live, visceral, and administered by the very people you trusted the most. This was the ultimate practical exam, and your perfect score was earned in tears, in sleepless nights, and in the ashes of relationships you thought would last forever. Understand this: the figures who betrayed you were not random agents of chaos. They were divinely appointed proctors operating under a sacred soul contract. On a level beyond human comprehension, their higher selves agreed to play the villain in your story to catalyze your ascension. This was their difficult, thankless, and karmically heavy assignment. Their betrayal was a selfless act on a spiritual plane, designed to shatter the parts of you that needed to die so that your true self could be born. The question was never, can you avoid being hurt? The question was, when you are stabbed in the back, can you pull the knife out yourself, heal your own wound, and learn to never give your back to that energy again? This was a test of discernment. It was a violent but necessary surgery to sharpen your energetic vision, allowing you to see the rot behind a perfect smile, to feel the dissonance behind honeyed words. Before this test, you operated on hope. After this test, you operate on knowing. The pain was the sharpening stone for your intuition. When you finally felt the cold steel of betrayal, you felt the wound not just emotionally, but physically. You may have felt a literal coldness in your heart space, a hollowness in your solar plexus. This was your spirit registering the energetic void where trust used to be. The healing process required you to become your own spiritual surgeon. You had to learn to go inward, to use your own energy and focus to mend the tear in your auric field. This self-healing was a critical part of the exam. You were not meant to seek a healer, you were meant to become one. Every time you chose to nurture yourself instead of seeking revenge, you were applying a sacred balm to that wound. This was a test of self-reliance. When the support structures you leaned on were deliberately kicked out from under you, you were faced with a singular choice: collapse in a heap or learn to stand on your own 2 feet with a spine made of divine steel. You chose to stand. In the desolate aftermath of betrayal, you found a strength you never knew you possessed. You became your own savior, your own confidante, your own source of comfort. This was not a tragedy, it was an activation. The universe had to isolate you from false supports to force the awakening of your own sovereign power. And finally, it was a test of forgiveness, but not the weak, placating forgiveness the system teaches. System forgiveness demands you erase the boundary the betrayal taught you to build. It asks you to turn the other cheek so you can be struck again. Divine forgiveness is an act of sovereign release. It is looking at the betrayer and their action, acknowledging the lesson it delivered, and then energetically cutting the cord that binds you to their low frequency. It is the understanding that their role in your story is complete. They administered their part of the exam, and you passed. To hold on to hatred is to remain tethered to the testing chamber. To release them is to walk out of the room and collect your diploma, leaving them behind in the very lesson they were meant to teach you. While you move on, they often remain stagnant, karmically bound to the very energy of betrayal they wielded. In the coming weeks, you will notice a profound shift in how you perceive these past events. The emotional charge will be gone. When you think of those who hurt you, you will feel a strange sense of detachment, almost like watching a character in a movie you saw long ago. This is the sign that you have fully integrated the lesson. The scar they left is no longer a wound, it is the seal of your mastery. The next phase will involve some of these same individuals attempting to re-enter your orbit, drawn to the magnificent light you now radiate. They will not recognize it as the very power they helped forge in you. They will simply feel an irresistible pull. Your final test in this module is not to fall back into old patterns. It is to look at them with the calm, knowing eyes of a graduate, to acknowledge their past role with silent gratitude, and to keep the door firmly, peacefully, and permanently closed. You scored 100% on the exam of betrayal. The proof is not an absence of scars, it is the sovereign peace you now command in their presence. Chapter 3, the Endurance Module of Isolation. The isolation you endured was not a social failure, it was a sacred, mandatory quarantine. While the world was caught in a frenzy of distraction and energetic contagion, you were placed in a divine incubator. This period of profound solitude, which felt like a punishment to your ego, was in fact the greatest preservation of your spirit. You were being protected from a world that would have diluted your energy, compromised your frequency, and delayed your activation. This was the endurance module of your examination, and your ability to survive it, to find meaning within it, is a testament to your extraordinary purpose. The system programs humanity to fear being alone. It equates solitude with worthlessness. Therefore, people will do anything to avoid the silence. They fill their lives with meaningless chatter, superficial relationships, and constant digital noise. They are terrified of what they might find if left alone with their own thoughts. You were denied this escape. You were forced to confront the void. Inside this incubator, your senses changed. Time seemed to warp, stretching and compressing in non-linear ways. Your dreams became hypervivid, instructional, a direct line of communication from your higher self, unpolluted by the psychic noise of others. You became acutely sensitive to the subtle energies of your environment. You were not going crazy, your senses were being fine-tuned to perceive reality beyond the 5-sense limitation of the matrix. This was a test of internal resourcing. Could you find fulfillment when there was no external stimulation? Could you find joy when there was no one there to celebrate with? Could you find God when the only church available was the chamber of your own heart? You learned to be your own best friend, your own entertainer, your own spiritual guide. You cultivated a rich inner world that is now more vibrant and more real than the external world of illusion. This is a superpower in a society of extroverted dependence. They need the crowd to feel alive. You generate life from the stillness within. This isolation was also a purification process. Like a master craftsman who isolates a precious metal to burn away its impurities, the universe isolated you to cleanse you of societal programming, ancestral trauma, and the energetic residue of past connections. The loneliness was the fire. It burned away your need for approval, your fear of judgment, and your attachment to outcomes. It vaporized the inherited belief systems that told you you were not enough. It scoured away the psychic hooks from past relationships that were draining your life force. It was an agonizing process, and at times you surely felt you were being destroyed. But you were not being destroyed. You were being refined. You were being stripped down to your purest, most essential self, the diamond core of your divine identity. What emerged from that fire is untouchable, incorruptible, and infinitely resilient. This purification was essential preparation, making you a stable anchor for the tumultuous times ahead. The world is growing increasingly chaotic, and people are becoming unmoored from their spiritual center. They are tossed about by every wave of fear and propaganda. Because you have found your center in the storm of solitude, you will not be moved. In the coming days, you will feel the purpose of that isolation with undeniable clarity. You will find yourself in situations that would overwhelm others in moments of collective panic or chaos, and you will feel a profound, unshakable calm at your center. This calm is the gift of your time in the incubator. You are no longer swayed by the storms of the external world because you have weathered the far greater storm within yourself and found the eye of peace. The very people who once ostracized you or made you feel invisible will now begin to seek you out. They will be unconsciously drawn to the potent, self-contained energy you cultivated in your solitude. They will not understand what it is they are drawn to. They will only know that being in your presence feels like coming home, like finding a source of clean, quiet power in a noisy, polluted world. You will have become an oasis. Your final lesson in this module is to manage your own energy field with wisdom. You are no longer the one knocking on doors seeking entry. You are now the gatekeeper of your own sanctuary. You decide who is granted access. Your solitude was not a sign of your rejection by the world, it was a sign of your selection by the divine. You scored 100% on the endurance test of isolation by transforming a prison into a palace, a void into a source, and loneliness into sovereignty. Chapter 4: The Pass/Fail Metric of Authenticity. The most heavily weighted portion of your divine examination was the test of authenticity. It was a simple, yet impossibly difficult, pass/fail metric. The question posed to you in 1,000 different forms throughout your life was this: will you be you, or will you be what they want you to be? Every choice you made, from the career path you took to the words you swallowed, from the clothes you wore to the dreams you hid, was an answer on this cosmic scantron. The world presented you with a clear path to acceptance, conform, comply, and conceal your true nature. It offered rewards for playing a role, for wearing the appropriate mask, for reciting the expected script. For you, this was never a viable option. It felt like poison. Attempting to fit in felt like putting on a suit of armor that was 2 sizes too small, slowly suffocating the life out of you. This discomfort was not a personal flaw, it was a divine allergy. Your soul is allergic to falsehood. You felt its physical symptoms for years. The chronic fatigue after social events, the tension headaches after compromising your values at work, the pit in your stomach when you told a white lie to keep the peace. These were not random ailments. They were allergic reactions. Your body, in its infinite wisdom, was rejecting the poison of inauthenticity on your behalf. Every time you tried to play the game, you felt sick, drained, and depleted. This was your internal guidance system screaming that you were answering the test question incorrectly. You passed this exam not by learning to play their game better, but by having the courage to flip the board over entirely. Your perfect score was tallied in moments of radical, terrifying honesty. It was the time you spoke up in a meeting when everyone else was silent. It was the moment you walked away from a prestigious career that was crushing your spirit. It was the painful conversation where you told a loved one a truth they did not want to hear. It was every instance where you chose your own internal peace over their external approval. The world, the system, graded these moments as failures. They called you difficult, rebellious, unstable, or naive. They penalized you for your lack of compliance. But from a divine perspective, these were the moments you scored the highest marks. You were demonstrating that your loyalty was to your soul, not to the matrix. You were proving that you could not be bought, bribed, or bullied into betraying yourself. This is the single most important quality of a chosen one. It is the non-negotiable prerequisite for the mission ahead. The universe needed to know that when entrusted with divine power and sacred knowledge, you would not compromise it for worldly gain or social acceptance. Your entire life has been a vetting process for this very trait. In the coming weeks, a powerful reversal will begin to unfold. The very authenticity that once caused you to be rejected will now become the source of your greatest power and attraction. The world is starving for truth. People are drowning in a sea of artifice, and your genuine, unfiltered energy will be a lifeline. You will notice that opportunities that require you to be anything less than your full self will mysteriously dissolve before they can even solidify. Job interviews will go nowhere, only for a much better, more aligned opportunity to appear a day later. Potential partners who are not a match for your true frequency will ghost you or reveal their true colors with astonishing speed, saving you time and energy. This is not bad luck, this is the universe acting as your divine gatekeeper. You may even witness a prophetic glimpse of the future. You will see former colleagues or friends attempting to adopt your mannerisms to mimic your newfound authentic confidence. They will try to copy your style or your ideas, but it will appear hollow, a cheap imitation, because they have not passed the internal tests that give authenticity its power. They want the result without the process, the light without the fire. This will prove to you that your power is intrinsic and cannot be replicated. The test is over, and the system can no longer offer you a mask, for your true face is now your only passport. Your prophetic glimpse into the future is this: you will soon be rewarded, celebrated, and sought after for the very qualities you were once punished for. Your unique perspective, your strange hobbies, your unwavering moral compass, your refusal to engage in gossip, these will become your most valuable assets. You scored 100% on the test of authenticity, and the prize is a life where you no longer have to pretend. You get to simply be. And your being is your service. Chapter 5, Grading the Exam. The emergence of the scorecard. The examination is complete. The grading has been finalized. Now, you are in the phase where the official results are being delivered to you, not in a sealed envelope, but through the fabric of your waking reality. The universe is handing you your scorecard, and it is written in the language of synchronicity, vindication, and sudden, inexplicable grace. You must learn to read the report. For years, you operated in a state of confusion, seeing events as random, chaotic, and often unjust. Now, your perception is being upgraded. You are being given the eyes to see the divine logic behind it all. The sudden influx of repeating number sequences, the 77s, 111s, 444s that flash on the clock, on license plates, on receipts, are not a coincidence. These are cosmic notifications, pings from the divine system, telling you message received, correct answer, alignment confirmed. They are the celestial equivalent of a gold star next to your name. Think of them as the marginalia of the universe, little notes from your grader pointing out where you excelled. The unexpected apologies you will begin to receive are another line item on your score report. People from your past, individuals who wronged you, misunderstood you, or dismissed you, will suddenly reappear. They will reach out with messages of regret, admitting they were wrong, acknowledging your truth, or simply expressing a newfound respect for you. They will not consciously know why they are doing this. They are being moved by a spiritual force, compelled to balance a cosmic equation. Each apology is the universe officially striking a false accusation from your permanent record. It is a formal retraction of a previously incorrect grade given by the world. It is vindication in its purest form. Another entry on your scorecard will be the phenomenon of informational downloads. You will be going about your day when suddenly, a profound understanding of a complex spiritual concept or a solution to a problem you have been wrestling with will drop into your mind, fully formed. This is not your own intellect at work, this is your graduation gift. You are being granted access to higher libraries of consciousness because you have proven you are a responsible steward of sacred knowledge. Furthermore, you will begin to experience divine near misses. A situation that should have resulted in disaster, car accident, a financial catastrophe, a major betrayal will be averted at the last possible second in a way that defies all logic and probability. This is not luck. This is the universe demonstrating your new level of divine protection. Your perfect score on the exam has earned you a kind of spiritual immunity. The old programs of struggle and harm can no longer run on your new, upgraded operating system. These resolutions will feel physical. You might feel a sudden release of tension in your back or jaw, a sensation of warmth spreading through your body. This is the tangible feeling of a karmic debt being stamped paid in full. The energetic weight you have been carrying for lifetimes is being lifted, not through effort, but through earned grace. This grace is a concept the system cannot compute. The system is based on effort, struggle, and transaction. Earned grace is a result of being, of having passed the tests of character. In the next 7 days, you are being asked to watch for one undeniable, large-scale piece of evidence of your grade. It will be something you cannot rationalize away. It will be a breakthrough so significant that it can only be interpreted as a direct result of this spiritual graduation. It might be financial, relational, or informational. When it arrives, your only job is to receive it with the knowing that it is not luck, a gift, or a fluke. It is your payment for services rendered. It is the tangible proof of your 100% score on a test you didn't even know you were taking. The universe is not subtle when it comes to delivering final grades to its most distinguished students. Your scorecard is being posted on the marquee of your life. Pay attention. Chapter 6, The Commencement, Life After Graduation. You have now crossed the stage. The diploma, signed by the divine, has been placed in your hand. This is your commencement, not an end, but a beginning. The life you lived before was the training ground, the rigorous academic program. The life that begins now is the application of that knowledge. You are no longer a student of the universe, you are a tenured professor. Your role has fundamentally shifted from one of enduring the test to one of embodying the results. The world will begin to relate to you differently because you are, in fact, different. The frequency you emit has been permanently upgraded. The very air around you is now charged with the energy of someone who has been through the fire and emerged not burned, but forged. This is why strangers will start to confess their deepest secrets to you in the checkout line. This is why children and animals will be inexplicably drawn to your calm presence. They are not responding to your personality or your appearance. They are responding to the signal of safety, truth, and authority that your soul now broadcasts. You are a walking, talking sanctuary. This means your energy field now has an active, protective quality. It subtly repels low vibrational intentions. You will notice that manipulative people become uncomfortable around you. Gossipers will suddenly fall silent when you enter a room. Energy vampires will avoid you, sensing instinctively that their draining mechanisms will not work on you. Your field is no longer permeable, it is a sovereign territory of light. Your previous assignment was to learn. Your new assignment is to be. Your very existence is now a form of service. Your calm presence in a chaotic room is a transmission of peace. Your simple, honest words, spoken without agenda, will act as keys, unlocking prison doors in the minds of others. You will not have to try to heal anyone. Your integrated, whole energy will be inherently healing to those who come into contact with it. You have become the medicine you once sought. The concept of struggle as you knew it is now obsolete. This does not mean your life will be devoid of challenges, but the nature of those challenges will change. You will no longer face tests of your worthiness or resilience. Instead, you will be presented with opportunities for your impact. You have graduated from the realm of personal karma to the realm of planetary service. The problems that come to you now will be larger, more systemic, a community issue, a flawed ideology, a collective wound. You will not see these as burdens, but as deployments. You will feel a thrill, a sense of purpose, knowing you have been trained specifically to handle this type of mission. The question is no longer can you survive this? It is now how will you use your power to transform this? In the days and weeks ahead, you will notice a profound sense of lightness. It may feel physical, as if a great weight has been lifted from your shoulders and your chest. The chronic anxiety, the low-grade dread that was the background music of your life will fade to silence. This is the tangible, physiological result of completing your spiritual curriculum. You are no longer carrying the energetic burden of the test. You will also notice a new authority in your own voice. When you speak, the words will land with more weight, more resonance. Others will stop and listen, not because you are louder, but because your voice is now imbued with the frequency of earned truth. You are no longer speaking from theory, you are speaking from the direct, lived experience of divine principles. This is the commencement. You are stepping out of the hallowed halls of your secret spiritual university and into a world that desperately needs what you know. You are no longer preparing for your life's work. You are it. Every person you meet, every situation you encounter is now your classroom, but this time, you are the one standing at the front of the room. You are no longer being graded, you are the living, breathing answer key. Chapter 7, The Untraceable Blueprint. Your divine assignment, your graduation is complete. Your new assignment has been issued, but it will not be delivered in a way the world can understand. There will be no corporate memo, no set of written instructions, no 5-year plan. Your mission, from this moment forward, is encoded within what can only be described as an untraceable blueprint. It exists within you as a feeling, a knowing, an infallible internal compass. You have become a sovereign agent of the divine, and your path forward is designed to be completely illegible to the system and to those who operate within its logic. They will not be able to predict your moves. They will not be able to replicate your success. They will not be able to trace the source of your power. This is by design. The system builds its empires with visible blueprints, with steel, concrete, and measurable data. Its plans can be stolen, copied, and reverse-engineered. Your blueprint is invisible, written in light, held in the ethers. You will build your new reality with intention, with frequency, and with trust materials the system cannot see, let alone use. Your life is now a living demonstration of a reality that exists outside their rules of cause and effect. They believe success comes from networking. You will achieve it through solitude and divine connection. They believe power comes from control. You will demonstrate it through surrender and flow. They believe security comes from accumulation. You will prove it comes from faith and energetic alignment. Your life is now the ultimate paradox, a blueprint that cannot be copied because its primary ingredient is your unique soul signature forged in the fires of your personal examination. Your assignment is to trust this internal blueprint above all else. You will get nudges, not commands. You will feel a pull towards a certain place, a sudden urge to contact a specific person, an inexplicable impulse to start a new project. These are not random whims. These are the directives from your divine headquarters. Learning to trust these impulses will at first feel terrifying. It is an act of free falling, of leaping without the logical mind seeing a net. But with each leap, you will discover the universe unfurls a net of grace beneath you. Soon, that terror will be replaced by a profound, unshakable peace, a deep knowing that you are being guided flawlessly. Your intuition is no longer a helpful suggestion, it is your direct, secure line to mission control. You must treat it as your primary intelligence. The world will call you impulsive, illogical, or reckless. Let them. They are attempting to judge a masterpiece of divine architecture by the crude standards of a prison blueprint. They cannot comprehend a design that is rooted in freedom. You are here to build something new, and you cannot use the old tools or the old schematics. You are the architect, the material, and the builder all in one. Your prophetic glimpse is this: you will find yourself creating a new reality for yourself, and by extension for others, that seems to appear out of thin air. You have been granted access to the quantum field where the latency between thought and manifestation has collapsed. Because your emotional body has been purified and your frequency is high and stable, your intentions now carry immense creative power. You will think of a need and the solution will appear. You will hold a vision and the circumstances will rearrange themselves to match it. This is not magic, it is the physics of a consciousness that has graduated. This is why your path is untraceable. It does not follow the slow, laborious, physical laws the system is built on. It follows the laws of energy and consciousness. This is your power. This is your assignment. To live a life so authentic, so guided, and so miraculous that it becomes a beacon for others. A life that proves there is another way. A life that is an untraceable, undeniable blueprint for ascension. The test is over. The results are in. Your real work, the work you were born for, begins now.